that our children have when you discriminate against them.
Okay, so let me ask the sort of help you give to even parents who have children with Down syndrome. Is there like a network where you have meetings with these parents to understand their challenges and, just support them?
Yes, our association is called the Association for Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities of Nigeria. We parents with children that have and persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities, in which Down syndrome falls to be one of the disabilities, we meet regularly every month. Now it's reduced to quarterly. We in Lagos State, we are about 3 active members, 300. Yes, we meet regularly and we discuss on how to uplift our children, and then we do seminars, we train ourselves, we share ideas, and then we counsel ourselves.
Let's hear about your experience. I know you have a child living with Down syndrome. How has it been? When was it diagnosed? How old is the child? And how's your journey been like raising him?
First, I want to say that it is not living with, he has Down syndrome. He's not living with Down syndrome, he has Down syndrome. The same thing with disabilities. I have disabilities, not living with it. Okay. Because it is a lifelong disability. It cannot be cured. Well, when I had my child, the nurses that took delivery, they said, but they could not explain themselves. So the doctor on duty at that time too said, he didn't say anything, he just looked at the child and he went away. Then the one that came in the night, he is a specialist, thank you. That one said, Madam, this child has Downs. What do you mean by Downs? I've never seen Downs, I don't understand. He said, don't worry, it's nothing to worry about because it is mild, and as he grows older, he wears it off. So I had that confidence that it wasn't nothing to worry about. But after some time, the milestone that you expect the child to reach, he did not. When it was time for him to sit down, he was not sitting. When it was time for him to crawl, he couldn't crawl. And then my husband was, this child, my last child. My husband was skeptical, said, there's nothing we can do, I have to keep this child. I have other children, nothing has happened to them. This only one, I have to keep it. So,
I know that children with Down syndrome, they come with some special talents. Has your association found out how to discover the talents of these children? Because some of them draw fantastically well, some are great musicians. Can you maybe elaborate or say able to discover their talents?
Yes, the people with Down syndrome, as they grow older, they improve. And that is if you expose them. If you keep them at home, you are killing the talents in them. And whatever they choose as their career or talent, you cannot beat them to it. If a child with Down syndrome is good in laying beds, it could take him 2 hours to lay that single bed.
They're perfection.
But you cannot find any fault, and you cannot do it the way he does it.
I want us to help a lot of parents, because a lot of parents are watching. Aside from just raising awareness about Down syndrome, it's important for us to also show that it is possible. So I want you to walk us through daily routine, how you've been managing. Do you have family support? You have friends? How was it challenging in the beginning? Were you left alone to care for this child? Were you able to convince your friends to support? How can somebody who's watching, whose child has recently been diagnosed with Down syndrome, what encouraging words can you give them? What do they need to do to start this journey of helping this person to live normal lives?
Yeah, the first support you need is from your family. It's from the family. Once the family is supportive, friends will join, because when they come to you, they see the way you relate. They see the way they relate with the child. They too, they will want to. You take them to church the same way. You take them to mosque the same way. Take them to the marketplace, the school. And Down syndrome, they are so special in the disability community in that they are very sociable. they are very lovable. If they are here, they will start clinging to you. And I don't think there is problem, except where, you know, there are two major, the two major difficulties that they cannot perform the functions well. That is the intelligence and adaptive behavior. The adaptive, you will need to...
Traditional intelligence, you mean?
Yes.
They have their own intelligence.
They have their own, the traditional, you know, their IQ, the average IQ is 50.
Yes.
And it ranges between 30 and 70. You see, for the adaptive behavior, that is the one I want to lay emphasis on. Because we need, from start, we need early intervention, which is not available in Nigeria. Like I told you, the doctor told me, in abroad they would have told you, you need to go to this, go to speech therapist, go to physiotherapist. No, they don't need speech therapist, occupational therapist, and the other
Physical therapist?
Physiotherapist. The three of them, because they need to work on the muscle. Yes. So they will not tell you that. And for you to shape them in the behavior, you need that occupational, the skill that an occupational therapy will use on the child. You don't have it. But like the patience, if you are not patient, you will learn to be patient. Because you cannot do anything with them. Because the way they process, when you send information to them, it takes that time before it processes in their brain.
Right.
And it takes time before it comes out, the response.
So let's talk about inclusiveness in society. You know, and I don't believe any human being is perfect. We're learning about different, all sorts of things about adults now. That, you know, we'll say this is a perfect child, and mentally the child has some other forms of deficiencies. So, but how inclusive is society when it comes to children with Down syndrome? I mean, can they be allowed to sit in class? I had an interview with a cerebral palsy child survivor once, and they used to kick the kids out of class and say that we can't cater for this kind of kids in our school. And you see schools pushing that. So how is it when it comes to education?
They allow them in the schools in education, but they are not gaining from it. Because the pace at which other children are assimilating, they don't have it. They are slow learners. You have to repeatedly say something for them to process. So if you put, we are talking of inclusion. Well, yes, inclusion. I mean, it can be in the social the aspect. In the education, if you put a child that has a visual impairment or albinism, with a child with Down syndrome.
You're calling more than...
Yes, when you put the three of them together in a class, obviously the other two excel. Because she or he with Down syndrome cannot move on the same pace with them.
So I think there's something they do, because this is what I'm writing my projects on, my master's. When it comes to inclusion, like Nima raised rightly, especially in the schools, they also devise special teachers. So they are there in the general class so that they are used to being with the society when they finish school. So, but they will have special teachers. There are lessons that they will take them for their speech therapy, some extra things that just helps them. So even after the concepts are taught in class, there's a special teacher that will now break it down and be patient. But I don't know if the public schools, and maybe Mariah can help out in this, have those special teachers. But the private school where I worked, they will be in the general class, but there's a time where they just go out for a few hours and do just to help them, you know, meet up to the level of the other children. And I don't know and I know some of these services are quite expensive, getting the therapist for you know, the speech and all those things. How are you people supporting parents to get there somehow with your association?
Thank you for that. It's good. You are talking of private school. My child once went to Supreme School, and exactly what you have said is what was practiced. He was in the same class with others, that is in the spirit of inclusion. And then when it is time for him, they take him out and then they teach him his own. You see, that one is obtainable in the private school. And how many people can access that? But in the public school, I have just given an example, and that is the way it is in the public school. They mix all disabilities together. And then you will see that at the end of the day, our children with intellectual and developmental disabilities don't gain anything. Because they are slow learners, the processing is slow, and then the technology assisted devices they need that they use, they are not available there. And we cannot even afford, because in my association we have so many indigent parents, as mostly women that have been abandoned by their husbands because of this child with disability.
Yeah, you were talking about developing their talents about your association. Have you been able to?
Yes, talent.
Yes, the only thing we can say in respect of that, is to continue to advocate to the public and government to do something for them, because it is done within the reach of members. For you to get a therapist, whether speech or occupational or physio now, for you to get a therapist, maybe for one visit is 5,000. So, and you will need about 3 in a week. And then in a month, you know how much it amounts to.
In a month, yeah.
And we are talking of indigent people.
Is there a social fund? I don't know whether it's you I should ask for, for this kind of things. Because we had, in my family friend's house, a cerebral palsy child. He's late now. And weekly therapy was over 20,000. We were trying to help him with physio and trying to help him get speech. We could only pronounce one name till he passed. But it was so costly. When we think about it, and I weighed a lot, I kept wondering if there was a social fund you can apply to, something that is sponsored by government. Is there such a fund?
We don't have such. We're just an association that encourage women, that encourage parents, and then we feel that when we have the number, we'll be able to put that pressure on government to do this and this and this.
I have to wrap up with you, but my producers just told me now that you came here today with your son. So my question is that, do you go around with him? I mean, is that something you have to do, or do you have, because people need to know the reality that you're used to going everywhere with him. Is that how it's going to be if you have to have this a child in this condition?
Oh yes, I think I enjoy moving him around, and then it helps him. It feels more happier. Yes, it feels more happier, and he behaves well.
Yeah.
I can see the difference as at the time.
So just leave him in the house?
No. I have never left him in the house. I could leave him with my nanny or wherever to go to the shop or wherever, and then I go. But start going out, seminars, workshops, it will sit. And I just, in the past, I couldn't imagine my child sitting alone for hours without disturbance. He will sit down there. 2-3 days ago, 4 days ago, we were held up at Beggar. We spent 5 hours in the go-slow, and my child did not disturb me. He was in the car with me for 5 hours.
How old is he now?
He's 25 years.
Normal children will disturb you. You will buy something tire. Yeah, cannot.
But well done. We have to wrap up with you. But well done. I mean, 25 years helping and supporting your son is never easy, but it's always good to see women like you thrive and do so well, so that other mothers can also take a cue from you. And I'm glad that your organization also, there's so many organizations in Lagos that I know. Many have come on the show several times to show the work they're doing with Down syndrome, but it's always good to see and celebrate, to commemorate. The theme this year, as you said again, is work with us, not for us. So
you don't represent
work with us, yes.
But support us. Yeah. Put it on the table for us.
Yes, and I would like you to speak to the government. Yeah. Use this opportunity to speak to the government about helping.
What they can do to help
your kind of associations.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that up. We've been working with LASUDA. We are one of the clusters that is recognized by Lagos State. And LASUDA in its own can say they're working. But as far as our children and persons with intellectual disabilities are concerned, they have not gotten their fair share from LASUDA. Because when you bring all of us together to do seminars and workshops, you are doing for others that have this disability. Our children, if we take them along, they don't even understand what you're talking about. There are several ways. You need to assist them so that they can attend such and understand what they're saying. If you don't assist to support them, to make them, to push them up, to understand what is obtainable around them, how do you want them to be involved in decision making.
Thank you very much for that
So
comment.
that is the
Let me
problem.
even add
Please let me add something. What we want from the government, Lagos State government, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, congratulations for coming back. But please, we're begging you, we need a vocational hub for children with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
That's a good
We have majority of them that have left primary school that are at home doing nothing.
And
We
their
cannot
skills.
take them to people to learn skills because they don't have the patience.
Yes.
We need skilled
Fantastic.
teachers
Teachers,
that will
yeah.
educate these
Right.
children.
Yes.
Let me add to that, because the reason why I wanted to add to that, because a lot of Nigerians, especially those who are well-meaning and those even in the diaspora, that they want to help with education, they just come with all sorts of ideas. Let's do this skills acquisition in schools. They have all the ideas. And one thing the commissioner who I work with says, all these ideas we know, but there's a problem. Vocational, special needs. Nobody wants to focus on those areas. So ask government, where do you need help? And that's why you say this is where they need help. So those of you in the diaspora that want to support in education, the easiest one, the smallest hanging fruit is come to the school and be teaching them how to do all this bead making and all these nice things and all this English, speaking French and all that. So that's nice. But the real problem are the special needs children. So if you have expertise in that, what she's saying is that come bring your ideas to government, let government support you so you can support people like this.
Yeah. Amazing.
I think thank you very much, Ma, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
That's all we can take. When we come back, move on to another segment, which is the Oral Health Day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather.
Thanks for staying with us. It's Health Tuesday, so we're still discussing health. And yesterday was World Oral Health Day. Today is always celebrated to give people knowledge about ways to have and maintain proper oral health. Joining us on the show now is an astute dentist with more than 11 years of experience in private dental care and the healthcare industry. Welcome with us, Dr. Fumi Adeniyi.
Thank you very much.
Have you.
Thank you.
My kids here, they go to the dentist, they run. They don't want to go to the dentist because they're always having to open their mouth and look through the teeth. So it was yesterday was World Oral Health Day. What exactly was the theme yesterday, and what are you trying to achieve with this commemoration?
Okay, so yesterday the theme for the past few years have been "Be proud of your mouth." So yesterday was looking after your mouth for a lifetime of healthy smiles. So looking after your oral health for a lifetime of healthy smiles, and that's what we're about.
Let me tell you something. Like one problem I have with this oral thing. Anytime I'm trying to brush my teeth, I always remember people say we should do 2 minutes. I'm always trying to tell myself. I say I can't do 2 minutes. Rolling.
You can sing "Happy Birthday," that whole song. If you go over it once,
I keep trying to do, and I'm done in like an hour, in a minute and a half.
A few seconds, so we're
So I keep doing 2 minutes. How you brush your teeth for 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. That law still exists at that time.
Yes, it does. Because if you go from every quadrant, you have 4 quadrants. You divide your mouth into 4. So you go front, back. That's 8 times, and then you do your tongue. You can go over it.
This thing of it is very uncomfortable. You have to admit.
Yeah.
Taking your brush and do this. How can you be brushing like that?
It's not reality.
It's not reality. How is that possible?
Just gently, like
you
hold the tail like this and move on. That's the one that we find difficult now because we are old, much older, and we didn't learn that. We didn't learn that early.
Yes.
You know. And even Mariah, who thinks she doesn't realize she's no more a youth. She's 42. She's no more a youth. She's going to be 53. She's entering our league. Please, let me far from your league. You know, when they are 50, they still call themselves youth.
Yeah.
She's going there. I just wanted to say that you are not supposed to spit out the toothpaste.
Yes.
Disgusting.
But we didn't learn that. We are supposed to keep it. We wash the mouth with the gum. Absolutely.
Are we supposed to swallow the toothpaste?
Instead of just leave it.
Spit it out, but not rinse your mouth.
So that it acts in your mouth for a while.
Why?
To increase the amount of fluoride that
So when do I rinse it before I eat?
You don't need to.
That's disgusting. Come on.
You see what I'm saying? We didn't learn this.
And listen.
My daughter, she doesn't like her kids. We are not allowed to use their mouth. We get it, and they are okay.
With all due respect, my mother-in-law, my grandmother-in-law, she's 90. She was 97 in December. She's going to be 98. She never did that, and she's 98 years old. It doesn't make you live longer.
She didn't eat as much refined carbohydrates as we do. She wasn't exposed to as much sugar as we are. She had generally healthier lifestyle than we eat.
Have. So since the doctor, my own dentist, after the 6 months appointment, I felt I won't do this year's on. When I brush, I will rinse my mouth.
Of course, absolutely.
Very, very well.
Yes.
I will put another toothpaste and brush and leave.
That's good. That's good.
Because I will rinse in my mouth.
That's good.
We'll wash all the corners and rinse. If I feel anything left, I can't deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an idea. I never heard about that.
And somebody gave me that advice recently, but I just felt, what does this one mean? But she said I can do it at night before I sleep.
Exactly.
And just sleep that one. So I've been doing it at night, not in the morning. I have to rinse my mouth with
morning
water.
and night, and I still rinse my mouth. I can't help it.
As long as you're getting the jet out, you're still safe.
Yeah, so I read in the papers this morning that the Dental Association have been talking about tooth decay for a lot of children.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, have you seen a number of children with tooth decay, and what do you think parents can do to help their kids?
Fantastic.
Okay, so there's a system that encourages tooth decay. So you've eaten a lot of sugar, sweet, even our regular rice bread breaks down to become glucose on your teeth, and then it stays on the tooth for a long period of time without brushing, say at night, and then it's hiding in crevices over a period of time, and then it becomes a hole, what we call dental caries. So things you can do is break that cycle by brushing regularly. That's why we say brush twice a day. Rinse out, take let them take water. Avoid giving babies bottles so that they're not exposed constantly to sugar, because a lot of these formulas have sugar. If you can breastfeed your child for much longer, please do it. Increases the amount of immunity they have to these things.
In my own day, the sweet that you will not even know if you're too young, that kills African, Nigerian children's teeth was goody.
Yes, I know.
I know. It's with dietitian.
With all due respect, you see, me, I still disagree that Momo is different from us. Let me tell you why. When Momo was younger, Momo is 98 years. When she was younger, in the other countries, they were eating chocolate. It's chocolate that didn't enter Nigeria, and chocolate and those. We are still doing our goody there.
Yeah.
In their own country, they've been eating chocolate since the 60s or 50s, whatever it is. So, and they have old people that live to 100 years, or even sometimes over. So it's not about Mama not eating chocolate.
But have you checked her mouth to be sure she doesn't have holes? Because a lot of people enjoy.
But she's 98. She's living. She's okay.
You can remove it.
Yes, a lot of people
if it enter your teeth, you remove it now.
Can you endure dental pain?
Some people do. Some people just keep medicating with amoxicillin and some antibiotics and painkillers. Some people
I think the last SLT I had, I think something went wrong. Because I still have this pain on this side of my mouth, as if something is broken and is falling in.
Wow.
But
check it out now.
So let us remind, so doctor, let us remind us of all the rules of, so that so our viewers can get something from this, not just lamentation. Let us remind us, how do we take care for our teeth? The various rules and the new rules that the Oyimbos have told you guys, because you guys every day they are constantly researching new things
and changing
it. Today they'll say don't put cotton wool in your ears. Tomorrow they say leave it. All sorts of things. Somebody just wakes up and comes up with new research. So tell us the new researches about mouth washing and how do we take care of our dental care.
Okay, so you should be brushing twice a day. In Nigeria here, your toothpaste should have fluoride, because nobody fluoridates our water. Nobody is adding extra fluoride to help prevent dental caries. If you insist that, oh no, I don't want to use fluoride, your toothpaste should have hydroxyapatite, which is very uncommon in these climes presently. You should be rinsing out after you've had a meal. Just try to make sure that there's no food residue. You should be flossing daily. So a dental floss in between your teeth to get rid of food particles and all that are stuck there. And then you should, if you insist on using a mouthwash, your mouthwash should have fluoride and should not contain alcohol, because alcohol just worsens the condition. It dries out your mouth. It just makes things worse.
So that you get some
If say drinking alcohol, they say your mouthwash. They should not.
Are you drinking alcohol?
It's affecting our brain. I wanted to ask you, because there are people I know who, when they have toothache, they will say, no, it's because of one infection. That's the cause of
have something they say,
so they will now take antibiotics. Say once the infection has gone, the toothache will go. Can you advise us on this?
Don't self-medicate. Visit a dentist every 6 months. That's one of the important.
I think it's a year. The year is better.
No, every 6 months. It's not a year. A year is not better. A year is better.
You know how much it is to go and 80,000 naira.
A year.
For 80 grand, you're like,
you should not stress. If you do health insurance, you won't have to pay that. You just pay a one-time fee, and then you're covered for the year.
Okay, let me ask about this. So a lot of, we like to jump on trends. And I posted a picture which one day smiling with my natural God-given colored teeth, which for my skin is popping white, and trend, and it's beautiful. Somebody came on my page and said I should go and do teeth whitening.
It's a new fad, and it's done by everyone. But many times when people come,
what are the health benefits
in the clinic? Well, it brightens your teeth, it makes you feel more confident, you're smiling better, so it affects your health.
Disadvantages?
Not everyone should get tooth whitening, because if you have sensitivity, if you have holes, you should be prioritizing filling those holes. If you have gum disease, you should not be exposing your gums to the chemicals that we use to whiten teeth.
But there are no adverse effects of the whitening in the long run?
None that has been documented yet, because they are safe.
I'll think about it.
Percentages.
But my teeth is
fine.
fine.
Dentist should be doing it for you, because not a lot of other people providing those.
Let me make a confession. Something that they've always abused me for. And I want you to tell me if it is good or not. I'm sure you say it's bad anyway. That toothpick that has floss, I can use 1 3 times or 4 times. After I finish using it, I keep it in my bag, because I'm a Nigerian. I don't throw things away anyhow.
Jesus.
You're an American for that. and I put it in my bag because I might need it in the evening. I use it again in the evening, and if it's America, I have that in my bag. It's America, I have I eat something I need again. So that floss, and that way I can use it for 2 or 3 days in my bag.
It should be used.
It's Lagos people's
Once you cannot buy the pack. Usually they have a
pack, but I want to cheap. I have like 5 packs in my house. The kitchen one in my bedroom. I keep reusing.
It defeats the purpose because most of the time those food particles are still stuck there. No matter how
clean it with my mouth.
So you know floss should not be handling kids by themselves. So my kids they pick the floss. So my son, because he knows I won't allow him, go and keep it again.
How old is he?
He's 6. He will reuse it over and over. And when I cut him, I was like, they don't reuse floss. The boy was looking at me. Then he says, the doctor says you should wash twice daily. So when he brushes his teeth, he goes back, looks at the mirror, then brushes it again. Twice in the morning. That's twice daily.
I told the ladies I gave you guys the gist to go that the friend I just got married. I used to when my son and my husband were together. He had issues with kissing. I just never knew for years. Because we just do kiss, small kiss. I went, this guy doesn't kiss. I was complaining. I went, this guy doesn't kiss. It was many years after that. Auntie, please, bro, push it at night. I only in the morning. I used to just I didn't care. But I mean, now he's going. I'll be seeing him brushing at night every night. I don't like the mint taste when it comes to my. I'm like, what is minty thing? I like the regular human being taste. You're not gonna brush your teeth before night. So I didn't like kissing. He didn't like kissing. I didn't like kissing. But it was not later I wanted to have a conversation. You're brushing at night now. So you know what we mean. Because I start brushing at night. Honestly,
are you kissing now?
That night brushing, I think, is very important. Because when you sleep with the food residue in your mouth,
it's difficult to
decay. So I learned that very early on. You know,
but one never brushed at
obviously
98 years old.
See, there's another solution. Somebody agrees with me. I was going to just say, you know, I think you've been here before.
Yes,
I mentioned chewing at night.
Yes.
So I use my chewing stick every night. I don't brush my. I have my chewing stick. There's a attachment
chewing stick
that goes in my.
I don't understand the rationale of chewing stick.
It has herbs. That's what I
There's
some chewing sticks with medicinal properties.
The mint one.
But the truth is, how do we find them? Not every. How many trees are growing? How do we find them? But if you can, I know that one of my professors did a research on something that's called Odiari or Oriata or something like that, and that one was very beneficial.
That pepper one.
Yes, that has the pepper.
There's also the minty one.
Oh really?
They carry it. At Alaba, you just
so we need to fund more research on this. On this.
Survive with those things before,
because Chinese people they've embalmed their own technology, but we haven't. So
we don't have that. Mama uses chewing stick.
The Arabs call it miswak. They sell it in very nice packs. Go to Dubai, go to Hajj. They sell it in nice packs and we use it. My dad would always be on chewing stick throughout the day before every salat, before he goes to the house by his side. So I grew up with chewing stick. I just carry a bunch and I chew at night.
So what are you going to do about making chewing stick more acceptable?
We need a lot of
research.
We need a lot of funding for research, because my mom does research and I know how even when they find a breakthrough, to now take it mainstream, you need a lot of funding to
your mom does research?
Oh, she's a pharmacist. Yes, so she does a lot of research. Oh yes, I wrote a book on oral health for children because in my practice I realized that if we teach them these things early, we can avoid a lifetime of pain and discomfort with dentistry.
Nobody ever tell me to
I have 3 copies there.
I can't remember any of this.
I need one for my grandchildren.
I was going to say that you're his grandchildren.
I can send more.
They are with me now. They are here now.
Okay. You don't need it again. It has pictures, activities, just things to make it engaging. And we cover most of the.
We have to run, but thank you so much. I mean, I think we need. Thank you for teaching me. I think it was from you even that it's mentioned this. I started pushing by years, but listen, your teeth is important. Let's check twice a year. Yes. I did go see a doctor with my kids, and when they sent me a reminder, I will do.
That was my clinic.
Was it your clinic? I got a reminder. I got a reminder. It was after you came on the show. I went to your clinic with the kids. Yes, it was you. You now send me a reminder 6 months. I said, please, I beg you. We'll meet you in a year. I cannot be carrying for children.
I don't know if I've done it. That's why I said a year, because I do SRP every time. And I thought, The one I did, the healing have not come finish.
So maybe you need to get a second eye to check if there's something, if there's gum disease or something happening.
I would like to
Yes.
come.
Take
And
Dr. Nia.
it's a crime to have mouth odor.
Oh yes, and one
should be punishable by law.
Garlic.
Yeah.
One in
Not
40
Wait, I need, what do you think the punishment should be?
We have to figure it out.
The punishment is people that eat garlic as hard. How can she stop this thing?
My best friend wanted to tell me that I had mouth odor when I was 18. She was 20. And so she just bought me a birthday gift. I found it ridiculous that she showed up at my house with one toothbrush. I said, happy birthday. It did not talk for 6 months. And you're allowed.
All right. So that's, let me
You can get these capsules that have taken out the smell of the garlic. So that's
No,
one thing.
I have fresh garlic.
Just the smell of the garlic. It's me that is to say
I did powder.
I've never smelt it on her.
You don't go close to her.
I took garlic
out of your
I took garlic this morning. You didn't smell it, did you?
didn't smell it this morning.
You
but
did stay close to her.
Can you smell it on her? She's
No, I
beside
can't.
me. I can't smell anything.
Now.
I did the powdered one this morning.
Okay. Okay, that is all we can take. Thank you, Dr. Nia,
Thank
for
you
coming
very
on the show.
much.
We'll come back to
right.
the clinic. I've seen your reminder. We'll come. It's not easy. This Buhari's government is not easy. All right, that is all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.